Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome to Coffee Time. This morning, we are over in Psalms 19:1, and it says, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the sky above proclaims his handiwork." And, we look at, I think in today's world, we have more of a tendency to look at the negative things that's around us and in this world instead of the positive things. When was the last time we really took time to appreciate God and His creation and what He's done? And it gets hard, when we're in a world full of such negativity. You can't turn on the TV without seeing some kind of death, destruction, or corruption or something there. You can't open up your phone without seeing something that's sexually immoral or something else that's might be unethical or sinful or negative or whatever. You go to work and you hear people complain and they're upset, and it just seems to be we're constantly bombarded by negativity. It's hard to see the positive things in life. We wonder why people are depressed and upset, and seeing a psychiatrist or therapists, and they're medicated. And here's a time that we keep looking at through that lens every day that we get up. It's the same humdrum every day, right? And we're looking at through a negative lens when we have an opportunity to change glasses. Try to look at the world in a different aspect. Instead of the negativity, try to find something that's positive that is around you. When we consider the things, the providence of God and His power and who He is, the detail that God put into. He is. Uh, we look at the architecture of the world that is around us, and we know that God being that master architect of what He created, and given that talent and skill, to mankind that, has built, skyscrapers and machines and Wi-Fi, and we're able to put someone on the moon. We got the Hubble Space Telescope that's in the deepest reaches of space right now, exploring still and sending messages, and it's telling us about things that are beyond our technological capabilities right now. But we look at what it is that these instruments are showing us about the greatness of God, and how we can our desire to want to learn and is they're really vast. We want to learn, we have that desire, but we should turn that desire wanting to learn about God. And honestly, you can learn a lot about God through science. And people say that science and God are not compatible. They are absolutely compatible because God created science. Look at nature. Whether we look at biology, whether we look at geology, whether we look at physics, chemistry, God made all of it. And you think about how we can appreciate God, that you can sit out in a field somewhere and you can see the flowers in a flowing field, and you can see the bee that comes down and how harmonious nature is. The bee comes down, pollinates the flower, takes that pollen back to the hive to make honey. You got the birds that are singing its melody, around us in the air. The wind that we can't see but know is there because we can feel it, a lot like God. We can't see Him, but we can feel Him, and we know He's there by the effects that He has on people. And we see that like the wind. The wind is touching the grass and moving, ruffling the leaves, in the sky, or in the trees rather. We take the time to appreciate the things that are around us, God's hand, to appreciate God. to look at a sunrise and how those colors paint the sky, and it shows us a new day, because today is the day that the Lord hath made, and we can take advantage of it, and we can appreciate God for the blessing of a new day, a new beginning. That if we want to start something new, start now. We want to appreciate God, start now. And we want to change something in our lives with a better walk with the Lord, change now. It's a new day. One day our lives will sunset. And but the beauty of the sunset is the fact that the light that it casts out across the land, that shows, again, the beauty of God, that you see the beauty of God rising up, painting it over the horizon of, God's providence, his promise, his power, his love and mercy. And then you see, the chaos of the world, of what man does during the day, of course. And then you see the promise of God at the end of the day, when the beauty of the sunset, as it paints, God's love and mercy and grace across the canvas of, of his design, of his creation. And we can appreciate that, of what God has done, that we take the time, to sit and listen to nature that's around us, and let nature tell us what, about God. Get away from the technology and just sit with God, listen, observe, watch uh, the the animals that go by, and the birds, listen to the wind, and just the trees creak. You just sit there and you just listen, and you just can't help, but see, that the glory of God and everything that is around us. Well, uh, Pastor Jack, I live in the city, so, we don't really have all that kind of stuff. Maybe not. And if you don't want to travel outside the city, there's still positive things that you can look at while you're in the city itself. That, there's still birds that are there. You still have the benefits of kind of like the society that's around you. There's a lot of negativity in the scene. A lot of people just all about themselves or whatever, just mean and cranky, the type of people. But understand, a lot of people just are acting as if they're lost. Really, they're we shouldn't be surprised in a lot of how lost people act. But the thing is, though, it doesn't stop that, you can still smile at someone, because it might change their day. Being polite and smile, not being like creepy smile, but you know what I mean. But we have the ability that there's multiple places that you can go, that you can live. There's, you have water, you have, the food that you can get, and you have the benefits maybe of a small coffee shop, that you can just go in there and order a small coffee or tea, sit in a corner table, and just, listen to the sounds that, that are kind of around you, to take a deep breath, and maybe try to drown out the noise of the city, and focus on, the life that's kind of like around you. And it requires us to look through a different lens. You can concentrate on the magnificence of man's ingenuity, all blessed by God. That when you look at through in scripture, how God has blessed man's ingenuity in architecture, and how God used man to build the tabernacle, to use Solomon and craftsmen to build the temple. And we see how, God's handiwork is in that. And, we can see how it's still in the handiwork of man, with our grand designs, skyscrapers that are there. You might be able to take the opportunity, maybe one morning, or evening, go to the top of one of those skyscrapers, one of those tall buildings, and just watch a sunrise or a sunset, and how it goes above the city. That when you're up there above the city, it changes the perspective of what you see. A lot of people think the skyline of New York City or Chicago is a beautiful thing. They don't say that when in the midst of the city. but they say it on the outside of it or above it. They can see that skyline because what they do is they see the ingenuity of man and kind of the beauty behind it. When they're away from all the chaos and the negativity that is down below. And that's what we need to do. We need to get out of the chaos and the negativity that is below, and we need to look up to where there's happiness and joy, where God is, and to appreciate, the things that He has provided and what He has done, our wisdom and our intelligence, knowledge that we have can draw us in to want to learn more about God, that we can see His power and His grace and what He's done across this the landscape, and takes time to and take the time to appreciate, really focus on the positive things. If you really look, you can find something positive everywhere. And when you start focusing on that, is when you start seeing more of a positive outlook. The day seems a little bit brighter. We got to get up and go to work, and you try to look for something positive that is there, besides the fact that you have a job and being able to, make ends meet. But the appreciation, that is there, the abilities and what talents do you have to try to make the organization just a little bit better, that it doesn't go unnoticed. People see that trying to benefit an organization to make someone's life better, and other people can learn to appreciate it. And then when they see that, and the light of Christ shines through you, that we can only hope and pray that people would see Christ within us, and not necessarily us, but see Christ. And we can tell them about the hope that we have, and show them how they can look at the positive things that's around them and make the environment better. But it starts with that sunrise and a new day that comes in, and with a determination to appreciate God and look for the positive things in life. You guys take care. God bless, and have a wonderful day.